Hello and welcome to Yoga Natyam. This is low gravity yoga. Begin in a seated position with legs crossed or legs extended forward. Open the palms up inside the knees or on top of your thighs and close your eyes. Observe your breath as it comes in through your nose and out through your nose. And with the eyes closed, the senses are turned inward. Meanwhile, with the palms open, the body is still connecting to the space outside of yourself, both inside and outside the body simultaneously. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here, indulging in the simplicity of this moment. Experience length in your spine, ease in your neck, motion in your breath. And as you take your next exhale, float your eyes open and turn your palms to face down on your legs. On an inhale, lean the hips and the heart forward. As you exhale, draw the heart back and around your spine. Perform this 2 more times. Inhale, a seated cow pose. Exhale, a seated cat pose. 1 more cycle. Inhale, broaden the chest and collarbones. Exhale, open space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach the heart forward. Set your fingers down to the mat behind your hips, and as you leverage down into those fingertips, float the heart up to the sky. Preserve length and space at the back of the neck, rather than the head falling back so that the neck shortens. Strive to lift the weight of the head off the neck, as if you're wearing a turtleneck and you don't want to wrinkle the fabric. 1 more breath here. And as you exhale, return to neutral. Inhale, take a big wide reach through your arms. Bring the palms together overhead and exhale, trace down the midline. Connect hands into your mat and walk forward. Spread your fingers wide. Hug your belly button up and in away from your lap. And breathe into the back of your hips, your low back and middle back. One more breath here. And as you exhale, walk your hands back up towards your lap and switch legs. Send the front leg to the back and bring the back leg out to the front. You can also extend legs forward again on the mat. Open palms up inside the knees or on top of your thighs. Close your eyes and return to breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. If at any time you feel lightheaded, send a big exhale out through the mouth. Allow your attention to turn inward, while your open palms keep you connected outward. One more breath here. And as you exhale, float your eyes open and turn palms down on the legs. Inhale, lean the hips and heart forward. Open the chest and throat. Exhale, draw the heart back. Allow the tailbone to tuck under. Inhale, forward again. And exhale, draw back. The spine rounds and space opens between the shoulder blades. 1 more time. Inhale, forward. And exhale, draw back. Inhale, move forward and set the fingertips to the mat behind your hips with the shoulder blades hugging together. Anchor through those fingertips and float the heart up to the sky. Again, keep length behind the neck. Lift the weight of the head up off the spine, as if you're wearing a turtleneck and you don't want to wrinkle the fabric. One breath here. And as you exhale, return to neutral. Flip the palms up and take a wide breath through the arms. Bring the palms together. Honor the head and honor the heart as the hands reach down for the mat. Walk forward. Spread your fingers wide. Breathe into your hips, low back, and middle back. Approach this stretch gently, careful not to stretch too far too soon. In this pose and in all of the poses to come, move into pleasure. Steer clear of pain. One more breath. And as you take your next exhale, walk your hands back towards your lap. Bring your knees together and send your legs around the backside to set up for tabletop position. As you look down at your hands, they will be spaced shoulder width apart. The shoulders stack above the wrists. The knees are hip width apart, with the hips stacked over knees. Take a big inhale here with your spine parallel to the floor. And as you exhale, round your back for cat pose, tailbone down and chin to chest. Inhale, turn the hips forward, open the collarbones and throat for cow pose. Exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. And the arms stay straight and strong, supporting this table in both poses and in the journey between them. Take 2 more cycles in time with your breath. Finish on an inhale, opening into cow pose. And as you exhale, return to neutral. Seat your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. The knees may be together so that the torso is laying over the thighs, or the knees can open apart so that the torso has room to lay between the thighs. Either reach your arms actively forward on the mat so that the forearms float off the mat, or allow your elbows to rest down. Breathe deeply in this child's pose, experiencing the creases of your hips and your knees. And exhale completely. As you take your next inhale, stack shoulders forward over wrists once again in tabletop position. And then walk your hands a few more inches forward on the mat so you're in a low push-up position or a low plank position. As you exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze elbows into side as you lower all the way to the mat, chin to the mat before belly button. Reach your right arm out to your right side with the palm facing down. Roll over your right hip and reach your left toes back towards your right hand. Allow the right side of your head to rest on the floor. Here, breathe into the opening you're creating at the front of your chest, right shoulder, and into this twist in your spine. One more breath here. As you take your next exhale, roll back to the front side of your body and bring the right arm into the rib cage. Extend your left arm out to your left side, palm facing down. Roll over the left hip and reach your right toes back towards your left hand. Allow your left temple or cheek to connect to the mat. Breathe into the left side of your chest, the front of your left shoulder, and the twist in the spine. One more breath here. Exhale completely and roll to the belly once again. Bring the left hand in to the side of the rib cage. Roll your shoulders to the back of your body and take Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. Drag your wrists energetically back towards your hip bones and send your rib cage and heart forward between your upper arms. One breath here. And then as you exhale, tone the abdominals in and take the hips up and back through table to downward facing dog. Turn your toes under and float your hips to the sky. Pedal through your feet a few times here, releasing one heel away from the mat and then the other. Allow a few kinks and tension to work out of those ankle joints. When you're ready to be still, send your heels towards the floor. The hands are wide, shoulder width apart. Rotate the shoulders on the back so the creases of the elbows can spin to face forward. If your legs are ready to straighten, feel the back of the knee open and the sits bones reach up to the sky. If that feels like too much at this time, give your knees a small bend and work in a stretch that feels available for your body. One more breath. As you take your next exhale, take your knees back down to the mat into tabletop position. Lift your right hand off the mat and step your right foot through in its place. Low lunge. Walk your right foot as far to the front of the mat as you can so that when you're at your deepest bend in that front knee, the knee stacks over ankle. Take a breath or two here to reach the heart and hips forward. Simplify this pose and take unnecessary tension out of the neck and shoulders. On your next inhale, bring your right hand up to your right knee. Roll to the pinky edge of your right foot and gently press that knee open as you continue driving your hips forward. Observe the integrity of your ankle joint. If balancing on the edge of the foot here doesn't feel good for your ankle, return to the lunging stretch where the foot is flat and the knee points up. We'll stay one more breath here, deep into that outer right hip. As you take your next exhale, bring your right knee back up to vertical as the foot flattens to the mat. On an inhale, reach your left arm forward and up to the sky. Feel the whole left side of the body opening from left fingertips down to the left knee. On an exhale, cross your left hand to meet your right knee and wrap the right hand around the low back. As you inhale, spiral the rib cage into a twist to your right. Float the weight of your head up off the shoulder girdle and the weight of your rib cage up off your hips. One more breath in this twist. And as you take your next exhale, gently unwind. Reach your hands down to the mat and take your right leg back to tabletop position. On your next inhale, lift the left hand and step the left leg through in its place. When you bend as far forward into this left knee as possible, the knee will stack over the ankle. If the knee bends past the ankle, inchworm that left foot further forward to lengthen your stride. Take a breath here to reach heart and hips forward. Then bring the left hand to the knee and roll open to the pinky edge of your left foot. Gently push that left knee open as you continue driving the hips forward. Breathe into that outer left hip. We'll take one more breath here. And as you exhale, bring the knee back to center. The foot flattens again to the mat. On your next inhale, reach your right arm forward and up to the sky. Experience length running from your right fingertips down to your right knee. On your next exhale, take a twist over to your left. The right hand crosses to the left knee. Wrap the left arm around your low back. With each inhale, get taller. And with each exhale, twist a little deeper. Mindful always of how far feels good and safe. Allow the chin to turn, to take the gaze past the left shoulder. If that creates strain for your neck, keep chin in line with chest. One more breath here. And as you take your next exhale, gently unwind. Reach your hands down to the mat and take the left leg back for tabletop position. Turn your toes under and float the hips up for another downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana in Sanskrit. Again, if it feels possible to straighten your legs, breathe into that length behind the knees and in the hamstrings and calf muscles. If your legs aren't ready for straight, give those knees a micro bend and work at a level that feels appropriate for you. One more breath. And as you take your next exhale, take your knees gently down to the mat into tabletop position. Walk your knees forward and seat your hips down to the mat. Bring your legs forward for staff pose. Here the legs are extended in front of the hips with ankles flexed, toes will point up. Press your hands down into the mat at either side of your hips. As you press down, feel the length running up the spine into the sky. The belly button will tone up and in as you energize those abdominal muscles. One more breath here. Exhale completely. And as you inhale, reach your arms wide to the side as if gathering space between the hands overhead. And then exhale, reach low ribs forward into Paschimottanasana, or seated forward bend. The hands may touch the feet, rest on your legs, or rest on the floor to the sides of your legs. Put the reach here into your rib cage so the shoulders can stay down the back and the belly button can continue to hug up and in. One more breath here. Exhale completely. And as you inhale, reach your arms forward and up as you return to vertical. Release those hands down through your sides to change the legs. Step the right ankle across the left knee. The left leg remains straight with ankle flexed. On an inhale, sit as tall as you can and reach up through your left fingers. As you exhale, take a twist to your right. The left arm will come down to cross the right knee as the right fingertips reach behind you on the mat. Inhale, sit forward to lengthen the round out of your low back. Take as much weight out of those right fingertips as possible. If it feels comfortable on your neck, take your gaze all the way past your right shoulder. One more breath here. And as you take your next exhale, gently unwind. Set your hands down to the mat behind your hips with the fingertips pointing towards your hips. Bend your left leg while keeping the right ankle across the knee. If you feel a stretch that you would like to sit and breathe in for a few breaths, stay right here. To go further, we'll take a reverse tabletop position. Hug the shoulder blades together on your back and energize down into that left leg to float the hips away from the floor. Your gaze may stay forward in front of you. Shift to look up to see the ceiling, or if it feels comfortable on your neck, allow the weight of your head to fall back. Breathe deeply, energetically drag that left heel back towards your fingertips. One more breath. And as you take your next exhale, control your descent and gently the hips meet the mat again. Release your right leg from its crossed position and extend both legs forward on the mat. Take another wide breath through your arms for Paschimottanasana. As you exhale, reach the low ribs forward for the legs, seated forward bend. The hands may grab for the feet, rest on the legs, or rest on the floor. Breathe deeply here. We'll add a twist into this Paschimottanasana. As you inhale and reach the ribs forward, bring the left arm across to the right foot or outer right leg. Reach your right fingers back past your right hip and turn your gaze back to see your fingers. Simplify this pose and take unnecessary tension out of the neck and shoulders. One more breath here. On an inhale, reach the right arm forward to join the left and switch sides. The right arm crosses to the left foot or outer left leg. Reach the left fingers back past your hip. Gaze back towards your left fingers. Be sure that both sits bones stay connected to the mat. Continue hugging your navel up and in towards your spine with each exhale. And leave all your breath in this twist. As you take your next inhale, unwind back to center. Exhale again to deepen this forward bend. And as you inhale, reach forward and up to a seated position at vertical. Release your arms down and set up for a twist for the left side. Step your left foot across your right knee. On an inhale, sit tall and reach through the right fingertips. As you exhale, spiral the rib cage left. Bring your right arm down to cross your left knee and reach left fingers back on the mat. Inhale, sit tall and forward to take weight out of your left fingers and to lengthen the round out of your low back. If it feels comfortable on your neck, turn your gaze past your left shoulder. If that creates strain, keep chin in line with the chest. One more breath here. As you take your next exhale, gently unwind. Again, set the hands down to the back of the mat, fingertips point to the hips. Bend your right leg, keeping the left ankle over the right knee. If this is a stretch for the outer left hip that you would like to sit and breathe into, stay here. To challenge the pose, we'll move into reverse tabletop. Hug the shoulder blades together, energize down into that right leg, and float the hips up off the mat. The gaze may stay forward, move up to the ceiling, or if the neck feels open and ready for it, allow your head to gently release back. Observe your breath and temperature change. One more breath here. And as you take your next exhale, gently bring the hips to land on the mat once again. Release that left leg out from its crossed position and bring the bottoms of your feet together for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Inhale, get tall. And as you exhale, walk your hands down to your feet. Reach your two lowest ribs forward into a stretch. Gently squeeze those feet together to deepen the opening for the back of the hips and the sacroiliac joint. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Breaths that come in through the nose and move out through the nose. Of course, if at any time you feel lightheaded or short of breath, take a few breaths in or out through the mouth. Exhale completely. And as you take your next inhale, gently rise up. Reach your arms as far to the sides as you can. Take the right hand down to the earth outside the right hip and reach the left arm up to hug in towards your left ear. The left palm will face the floor. On an inhale, roll your left shoulder back and look up under the arm to see the ceiling. One more breath here. And as you take your next inhale, rise on up. Carry the head so that the left ear reaches for the left shoulder. And then cross the chin over the chest into an easy circle for the head. The right ear towards the right shoulder, and the head comes back up to the middle. Open the arms again wide to the sides. Reach especially through your middle fingers. And then set the left hand down to the earth outside your left hip. Reach right arm up to hug towards your right ear. Rotate the shoulder on the back so that the palm can face the floor. And then send the right shoulder back as you look up under the arm to see the ceiling. And your left arm may bend, elbow and wrist, as you cushion the body into a deeper stretch. One more breath here. And as you take your next inhale, rise on up. Keep the head moving over the top to stretch right ear down to right shoulder. Then cross the chin over the chest and continue moving through one circle for the head, left ear to left shoulder, and head back up to the center. Open your legs out to the side for Upavista Konasana, or open angle pose. Flex your ankles and push your heels away from you. On an inhale, sit as tall as you can, and as you exhale, walk your hands forward on your mat. While the pelvis leans forward and the rib cage reaches, the thighs roll back, the shoulders drop down and back. If you feel you can get better leverage by pushing from behind the hips, use that version of this pose. We'll stay 3 or 4 breaths here to open the pelvic floor and adductor muscles of the inner thighs. Exhale completely here. And as you take your next inhale, walk your hands in, rise back up to vertical. Use your hands to help bring your legs together and scoot forward on the mat so there's room to roll down behind you. With feet flat to the floor, the knees will point up. Reach your hands alongside your knees, and on an exhale, round your spine. Allow the tailbone to tuck under, lower vertebra by vertebra to the mat. Once you arrive and the back of the head connects down to the earth, walk your feet in so your heels are close to your hips. Press your palms down to the earth at either side of your hips. Bridge pose. On an inhale, push down into your feet and your hands to float the hips up off the floor. At the top of this bridge, walk the shoulder blades as close together as you can to open a hollow space behind the heart. Breathe here. Hands may continue pressing into the floor, or you can interlace the fingers below the sacrum and press the pinky edge of your hands into the mat. Breathe deeply here in this bridge. Energetically drag your heels back towards your shoulders to warm and tone your hamstrings. One more breath. If your fingers are interlaced, gently release them, hands to the mat again, and on an exhale, lower slowly, vertebra by vertebra, to take the hips back to the mat. As you inhale, invite the right leg up to the chest for a hug. Your bottom leg can remain bent with the left foot flat on the floor, or you can extend your left leg straight so that your heel pushes towards the front of your mat. Breathe deeply here into the back of your right hip and the right side of your low back. Open your right arm out to your right side with the palm facing up. If your left leg is bent, at this time extend your left leg forward on the mat. Take the right leg across the body into a twist. Adjust the left ribs out from underneath you to keep the spine in line with your extended leg. Take your gaze towards your right hand for a full expression of this twist. Know how far feels good and how far feels like too much today. Be safe, be gentle, and practice patience. One more breath here. On your next exhale, continue rolling over your left side. Sweep your left arm up around the back of the mat to reach behind you. Bring your right arm out to your right side, and the right knee opens for half frog pose. Some refer to this as the pregnancy pose. The right hip is at a 90-degree angle, and the right knee is at a 90-degree angle. The left cheek rests on the floor. Give your weight into the mat or into the earth and receive change. One more breath here. And to come out of this pose, reach your left arm up again to the back of the mat. Roll over the left side of your body and return to your back. Set the right foot down to the mat and bring the left foot up to join. Knees point to the ceiling. A second bridge pose. Press hands down to the earth to either side of the hips, and on an inhale, float the hips up off the floor. Walk your shoulder blades as close together as they can underneath the heart. Here, drag your heels energetically towards your shoulders. Continue pressing through wide hands or interlace your fingers behind your sacrum and press the pinky side edge of your hands into the floor. One more breath here. And as you take your next exhale, release your hands and slowly lower hips to the mat. Bring your left knee to your chest for a hug. The right leg can remain bent with the sole of the foot on the floor, or straighten your leg and flex your ankle so that the heel reaches forward on the mat. Hold efficiently onto that left leg, using only the effort in the arms required, and let any unnecessary effort go. Take one more breath here. And if your right leg is still bent, at this time extend it forward on the mat. Open your left arm out to your left side. Take the left leg across the body into a twist. Adjust the right ribs out from underneath you and turn your gaze left. Breathe deeply here. One more breath in this twist, bringing toxins out of organs and adding space for the vertebrae of the spine. And then reach your right arm up overhead towards the back of your mat and pinwheel those arms as you roll to your belly. Ardha Bakasana. The arms are spread wide like airplane wings, palms down, and the left leg is bent with a 90-degree angle at the left hip and at the left knee. Allow your right cheek and temple to rest on the floor. Give weight into the mat and receive change, whether physical change, mental change, or emotional change. We'll take one more breath here. Come out of the pose by reaching the right arm to the back of the mat again. Roll over the right side of your body and return to the back. Set your feet flat to the floor and open your knees out to the sides. Bring the bottoms of your feet together and the legs will appear to be like butterfly wings. This is Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. Open arms out to your sides once again, this time with palms facing up. Take 5 deep breaths, allowing those knees to fall into gravity. If at any time it feels like too much for your hips, come out of the pose by bringing your knees together and standing the feet flat to the floor. We'll take 3 more breaths here together. And as you take your next exhale, draw your navel into your spine, recruit abdominals to bring the knees back together, and extend your legs forward on the mat for Shavasana, corpse pose. This final resting pose is important for reaping the benefits of the asanas you have just performed. Allow the legs to roll open and land comfortably at the front of the mat. Extend your arms to low diagonals outside your hips with palms facing up. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward. As you track breath and sensation internally, the open palms to your sides will continue to connect you to the room around. Observe the swell of your inhale, the deflation of your exhale. And whenever your mind begins to wander, without judgment, return to your breath. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Gently stir the body and come back to life. Allow fingers and toes to move, or slowly turn the head from side to side and wake up the back of your scalp. At a time that feels right, reach the arms to the back of the mat and feel length from fingertips to feet. And then as you exhale, curl to rest on one side. Gather the arms and legs up in front of you in the fetal position. The head can rest on the floor or on your bottom arm. Enjoy closed eyes for 2 more breaths. And as you take your next exhale, set your top hand down in front of you. Reach your top leg forward to the front of the mat and gently walk around your bottom leg to a seated position, circling forward to get there. At the top, cross your legs or extend your legs forward on the mat. Rest your hands down on your legs, and if your eyes have opened, close them again. We'll finish with 3 cleansing breaths. Draw in a big breath through your nose. Open mouth and sigh. And again, inhale through the nose to draw in what you need. Open mouth to send out what you don't. One more time. Inhale. Open mouth to sigh. Bring the palms together at the heart and take a bow forward to seal your practice. Namaste.